Good evening, friends. I actually want to say good evening, beloveds, because this is a time when my sincerity and my deep earnestness need to be expressed. We are in the middle of mind-boggling events in our country. All of us know that violence and authoritarianism and state-sponsored murder and disappearing people and inexplicable cruelty happen all the time. The human condition has always included that. And this time is not any different. What's strange right now is, after many years of stripping away history and civics and understanding our government and our place in the world, after 70 or 80 years of relative peace, we have a population that has become very complacent, hesitant to get involved in anything that looks political. So I'm going to speak plainly and maybe too frankly for some of you. If you don't like this, turn it off. Since last spring, university students, immigrants, anybody with brown skin have been disappeared from our streets by masked, mostly men, shoved into cars, sent to detention centers, and sometimes put on planes to foreign countries where they are tortured. It has been ramping up and getting worse. We saw it in LA, we saw it in Portland, it's been here in Chicago. The stuff that happened here was unbelievable. Right in my own town, 8 blocks from my own home. Nice neighborhoods, not so nice neighborhoods. But 1 week ago, a 37-year-old mama who doesn't look much different from me was shot in the face in her car in a moment of yelling and whistles being blown and confusion. And oh no, if it had been me, I probably wouldn't have known quite what to do with myself. She was killed. That neighborhood looks just like mine. And I'm having a really hard time. And this morning I was on my way to yoga, and I had let myself listen to the news for 25, 30 minutes. And I felt my body starting to get more and more hyped up. And I've thought about this a lot. But one of the victories that I am capable of is resetting and continuing to be a light in the world. So I went to yoga and I breathed and I prayed and I centered myself. And this evening, despite the fact that I'm tired and worried, I want to read some poems. So this is Poems from Me to You. Facebook Love number 356. I'll move this over to YouTube later. But I'm going to give you some poetry. The first two are by our Youth Poet Laureate, Amanda Gorman. The first one is for New Year's because, believe it or not, we are just a few weeks into this new year. The second one is a piece that she wrote right after Renee Good was murdered. And a few more. And as I go along, you may not want to stay on because there may be some profanity. So, here we go. New Day's Lyric by Amanda Gorman. May this be the day we come together. Morning, we come to mend. Withered, we come to weather. I'll say that again. Withered, we come to weather. Torn, we come to tend. Battered, we come to better. Tethered by this year of yearning, we are learning that though we weren't ready for this, we have been readied by it. We steadily vow that no matter how we are weighed down, we must always pave a way forward. This hope is our door, our portal, even if we never get back to normal. Someday we can venture beyond it, to leave the known and take the first steps. So let us not return to what was normal, but reach toward what is next. What was cursed, we will cure. What was plagued, we will prove pure. Where we tend to argue, we will try to agree. Those fortunes we forswore, now the future we foresee. Where we weren't aware, we're now awake. Those moments we missed are now these moments we make. The moments we meet and our hearts, once all together beaten, now all together beat. Come, look up with kindness yet, for even solace can be sourced from sorrow. We remember, not just for the sake of yesterday, but to take on tomorrow. We heed this old spirit in a new day's lyric. In our hearts, we hear it. For Old Lang Syne, my dear, for Old Lang Syne, be bold, sang time this year, be bold, sang time. For when you honor yesterday, tomorrow ye will find. Know what we fought need not be forgot, nor for none. It defines us, binds us as one. Come over, join this day just begun, for wherever we come together, we will forever overcome. Amanda Gorman, New Day's Lyric. Now I have one written by her last week, titled For Renee Nicole Good, Killed by Ice on January 7th, 2026. I will note for those of you who pay attention to history that George Floyd was killed 5 years prior. 5.5 years prior, 8 blocks away. They say she is no more, that there her absence roars, blood blown like a rose. Iced wheels flinched and froze. Now, bare riot of candles, dark fury of flowers, pure howling of hymns. If for us she arose, somewhere in the pitch deep of our grief, crouches our power. The howl where we begin, straining upon the edge of the crooked crater of the worst of what we've been. Change is only possible, and all the greater, when the labor and bitter anger of our neighbors is moved by the love and better angels of our nature. What they call death and void, we know is breath and voice. in the end, gorgeously endures our enormity. You could believe departed to be the dawn when the blank night has so long stood, but our bright fled angels will never be fully gone when they forever are so fiercely good. For Renee Nicole Good, killed by ice on January 7th, 2026, by Amanda Gorman. Amanda Gorman is a celebrated poet, a young woman. Renee Good was an award-winning poet. She won the 2020 Academy of American Poets Award for this poem titled Unlearning to Dissect Fetal Pigs. I want back my rocking chairs, solipsist sunsets, and coastal jungle sounds that are tercets from cicadas and pentameter from the hairy legs of cockroaches. I've donated Bibles to thrift stores, mashed them in plastic trash bags with an acidic Himalayan salt lamp. The post-baptism Bibles, the ones plucked from street corners, from the meaty hands of zealots, the dumbed-down, easy-to-read, parasitic kind. Remember more the slick rubber smell of high-gloss biology textbook pictures. They burned the hairs inside my nostrils, and salt and ink that rubbed off on my palms. Under clippings of the moon at 2:45 a.m., I study and repeat. Ribosome, endoplasmic, lactic acid, stamen, at the IHOP on the corner of Powers and Stetson Hills. I repeated and striggled. I repeated and scribbled until it picked its way and stagnated somewhere I can't point to anymore. Maybe my gut. Maybe there in between my pancreas and large intestine is the piddly brook of my soul. It's the ruler by which I reduce all things now. Hard-edged and splintering from knowledge that used to sit, a cloth against fevered forehead. It's the ruler by which I reduce all things now. Can I let them both be? This fickle faith and this college science that heckles from the back of the classroom? Now I can't believe that the Bible and Quran and Bhagavad Gita are sliding long hairs behind my ear like Mom used to, exhaling from their mouths. Make room for wonder. All my understanding dribbles down the chin onto the chest and is summarized as, life is merely to ovum and sperm, and where those two meet, and how often, and how well, and what dies there. Unlearning to Dissect Fetal Pigs by Renee Good. If you've seen the videos of what happened to her, there's a lot of footage from every angle. The man who shot her, Jonathan Ross, pulled out his phone with his non-dominant hand, interesting, and walked around his car filming. And then, as he crossed in front of her car, still holding his phone with his non-dominant hand, while one man was grabbing the door and trying to open it and pull her out of her car while she was trying to obey another man who was yelling at her to get out of here. While all that was going on, Jonathan Ross, holding his phone in his non-dominant hand, pulled a gun with his dominant hand. And as he was stepping away from the front of her car, as her car started to turn away from him, he shot through the windshield once, and then twice through the window, the open window, and shot her in the face. And as she was injured and dying, the car sped forward and crashed into a light pole in another car. And he said, on his own phone recording, "Fucking bitch." There is so much history and understanding in that phrase. In the kind of man who calls a woman a fucking bitch because she didn't do what he said or what another man said, or respond fast enough, or have the correct expression on her face. He shot her in the face and called her that, and then he walked away calmly and got in a car and drove away. This poem is titled "Fucking Bitch." You grab them by the pussy, murder them in video games, sexualize them young, then hold that against them until they're old. Undermine, underestimate, disbelieve, discredit, degrade, ridicule, humiliate, grok, teat, choke, slap, shut up, bitch. Ah, look, it's just locker room banter. It was a joke. It was a compliment. You'll miss them when they stop. Boys will be boys. Men have urges. Men have instincts. That's nature. That's not his fault. What was she expecting wearing that? She went to his house. She was drunk. She was a slut. Silly girls. They had that coming. That was all their fault. Blame them for male loneliness, for falling birth rates, for boys' bad grades. Blame them for their own rapes, for their own deaths. Because let me tell you, she was not all that innocent. She was not the perfect victim. She asked for this. She had it coming. She didn't smile back. She didn't say no. Well, she didn't mean it. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Shh, you're emotional. You're hysterical. We're going to need to intervene, to teach them a lesson, to shut them up, to take back control. We'll need her voice. We'll need her rights. We'll need her life. And how inevitable was that after you made her into such a fucking bitch? That poem was written by, if I can get this woman's name, I'm having trouble getting it, M. Clarkson, so M. Clarkson. I don't usually swear on these. I can't tell you how many times I've personally been called that, how many times I have watched men call other women that, how many times I've seen other women call each other that, because our culture does that. The misogyny in that murder is part of it. But here's the part that really throws me. It was so casual. It was so casual. And I look at her and her wife, and I see my own friends, my own family, in a neighborhood just like mine. And I think that could happen to anybody. And I'm grieving, and I'm angry. The questions can't be answered quickly. Our culture's not going to change fast enough. Thousands of years of patriarchy aren't going to change quickly. But we can stand up and say no. We are coming to save us. We do that. We are many and we are mighty, and we can stop this. This is Poems from Me to You, Facebook Love, number 356. I'll see you again.